Hello and welcome back to my channel Hiral's World. Today we'll be talking about Q&A on Ireland. That is what to do if you want to study or get a job in Ireland, or you are planning to move from your home country to Ireland for work visa. So I got asked so many questions on Instagram and I've answered a few of those questions, but some of those other questions that I'm going to answer today will require a little bit more understanding and in-depth explanation. And also I want to teach you how to fish rather than like just giving you the fish and saying, here you go, right? So maybe this video is for you to make a better decision whether Ireland is for you or not. Also, with each question, I'll be giving you some more thoughtful process to think about and to take as a next step so that you can fund your adventures by choosing the right study program and the career abroad. But before that, if you're landing on this page for the first time, hi, I'm Hiral Sejpal. I help you choose the right study program and the career path so that you can fund your adventures in the future. Now, without further ado, let's dive into this video. So the first question that I have from Rahul here is, how can I get fully funded scholarship to study in Ireland? Now, in my previous video, I have already talked about this thing. I have given you a list of scholarships which you can pursue. But just in general, if you're asking about how can you get scholarship, then there is like a very simple process for it. So let me explain it to you in step-by-step process. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to really get scholarship in Ireland, then you need to start early, right? You can't be like just going to a consultant and asking, hey, where should I go or what should I study? Consultant will not do your work for you. And this I've been telling you so many times, right? I've uploaded my video on how did I get scholarship to study abroad, and that to fully funded scholarship. So if you want to get tips on how did I get it, you can watch this video. For Ireland scholarship, you need to start early. You can't be just deciding last minute. So at least 10 to 12 months before, start researching about the critical skills program. What does that entail, or what does that tell you? What are some of the skills that are in demand in Ireland, right? I will give you some of the courses later in this video, which you can absolutely go for and have a great scholarship and the study abroad thing. But at least start early. You need to start 6 to 12 months before you are actually planning to land in Ireland. Now, there are major fully funded scholarships from the government of Ireland. I'll just put the names over here on the screen. Now, these scholarships are mostly funded and they are fully funded. They are for international students. I've also explained in the previous video some of the other scholarships that you can apply for. Now, if suppose you're not a cherry on top type of student, if you can't get the fully funded scholarship from the government, then what should you do? You should apply for some other scholarships that are university based. Now, in my case, I did get a government scholarship, but that is also because I had a very good research proposal that government wanted to fund, and that's why I got a fully funded scholarship. The third thing that you need to do is focus on eligibility criteria and improve your profile right away. And how do you improve your profile? So first things first, get some work experience, especially if you're going for postgraduate studies. And I would recommend going to Ireland for postgraduate studies. I don't think that going for bachelor's is a good idea, but I'll leave it to you. So if you're going for postgraduate studies, get some good work experience. Show them in your letter of expression or letter of interest that how you are growing and how the program that you want to pursue is going to be good for your future. Have that growth mindset. And if you're able to express that and show that in your resume, then you are going to have really good results in terms of getting these scholarships. Nobody can stop you here. The next thing that you need to do, and why do I say that you have to start at least 10 to 12 months before you actually land in Ireland, is because you need to get the recommendation letters. Now, these recommendation letters, usually people would ask their boss or their professor from India, right? Which, yes, you can. But there is also another pathway, which I'm going to reveal today. I've never revealed this before, which is getting recommendation letter from the students or from the people who are studying in that university. Now, this is where you start to develop that connection with people. And remember, I always tell you folks to go strategically. Take every move very strategically. So why are you doing this? Why are you developing these connections from early on? Because see, early on when you're working, you don't have much to lose, right? Well, what you're doing is you're just sending connection requests on LinkedIn. And then if, let's say, out of 100 connection requests, even if 2 people agree to meet you for 15 minutes of coffee chat, you are going to have that and leverage that experience as well as develop those connections, as well as ask them if they can recommend you for that university. So if you are doing all of these steps, then there is a highly likelihood that you will be getting a scholarship. Also, just don't just rely on the government or the popular college scholarships, right? You can also even rely on other scholarships, like for example, regional scholarships. There are some like special scholarships. For example, I'm a left-handed person. So I got a scholarship. It wasn't too much. It was maybe just $2,000, but I got it because I'm a left-handed person and I had applied for that scholarship. Now, how many of you actually know that there is a scholarship for a left-handed person, right? So that all involves research, and no consultant, not even me, nobody can do do that research for you because it is your life, so you need to take charge of it. So then start doing that research, and these are the steps that you need to follow if you want to get a scholarship in Ireland. Second question is, if we opt to study in Ireland, how about career in Ireland? Well, if you are opting to study, then you will have a 2-year of post-study work visa. Now, one of the best things about Ireland, especially Europe, is like, first of all, the tech and pharma sectors are booming, right? They're really good. And I have seen around 2 types of students, and let's just like divide these two types. So the type 1 are usually the ones who would go for general business, IT courses. They will stay there. They will not do much, like, they'll probably like, try to opt for an easy way. They will apply for some jobs, and then they will end up getting frustrated, not land anything. They will return home. Now, there are type 2 students who are my students, and they are very strategic, and you could be one of those as well. Now, these students, they strategically pick high demand sectors. For example, cybersecurity, data engineering, some regulatory courses, some financial services related courses, financial engineering. All of these are aggressively and highly in demand. And that's why if you were to study these courses, then you will have a good career no matter what. Now, these type 2 students, they actually not only just pick strategically the courses that are in demand, but they also go for something called as co-op or internship experience. Now, how do you gain that? Now, there are certain programs in universities and colleges that require internship to be a mandatory part of your completion of degree. Now, what that does is it equips you to find jobs outside in Ireland. Hence, you will gain Irish experience. And so then, of course, if you're working in that industry on a co-op job, there is a highly likelihood that you will have a return offer, and then that's how you will build your career. Otherwise, if salary and math karna hai, to ye video banai hai, you can go and check that video. I've given all the stats about like what the salary would be and how that compares to US, UK, Canada, etc. So now let's move on to the next question. The next question is how to grab job opportunities there and what should be the correct approach. So that's a very actually good question. I will give you a step-by-step framework, and if you were to follow this, it is going to work for you. Me and my team has consulted over 5,000 students. They have chosen the study program that we had suggested, and these students have actually got the job and are actually staying in those countries. So this framework definitely works for you. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. As soon as you land in the country of your choice, here, let's just talk about Ireland, because in Ireland, this framework definitely works. In month 1 to 3 of your program, you are going to join every single organization or society that relates to your field. So if suppose you are an accountant, you're going to join the accounting, society. If you're an HR, like, you're going to join the HR organization, like different bodies that actually are involved in that particular field. This you have to do as soon as you land in Ireland. Now, besides this, you will be also connecting with Irish students. Not with Indian students. Go and find Irish students. Go around the university. Talk to people. This is your gateway into learning about the culture and also about the industries. Because remember, these students have their parents there, and these students have the good network that has been already built. Yes, it is hard to crack in, but once you are in, then nobody is going to take you out. Trust me. So go and talk to Irish students. Talk to your alums, right? Talk to them and see where they're working. What is their approach? What worked for them? What didn't work for them? Now, in month 4 to 6, you are going to target companies. Not the job postings, you're going to target companies. At least pick 10 to 15 companies, and every single day, follow them on LinkedIn. Every single day, engage with their posts on LinkedIn or anywhere else that you find. Try to connect with the HR and the recruiter, or even the people who are working in those future roles. Ask them for a 15-minute of coffee chat. If you were to at least send 200 invites and ask 200 people for a coffee chat, at least 5 of them will say yes. Show up, ask meaningful questions, and then learn from their experience. Now, this is your 4 to 6 month plan once you are in Ireland while you are studying. Now, in month 6 to 8, what are you going to do? You're going to secure an internship or a part-time work. This can be even volunteering, unpaid work. It's okay. Even if it's for 10 hours per week, it's totally fine. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get your foot through the door, understand the Irish job culture, because when recruiters are hiring, they're looking for the experience and the culture understanding, and not really like whether it's a paid experience or not. Of course, if it's paid, great. I understand that you need to pay your bills and everything, and some people may not be able to afford this, but try to take out that time. Try to take out and go and work in those industries, volunteer with people. And then after month 10th, considerably, you are going to now strategically apply for some positions that are hiring. You're not a student anymore, or maybe you're very close to graduating if you're studying 1-year program. and then understand and start to apply and see where it takes you. This approach requires patience, and it also not the approach that most students would want to take, because what they do after they graduate, they wake up, their clock is ticking, and that's why they just want to land a job. I understand that rent is due, your family is asking questions, you may be like pressured to work, and like, there's real life expectations, but this approach has worked for every single student, as I told you. So if you want to really grab job opportunities and want to have a great career, then this framework will work for you. So the next question is, which is better, Germany or Ireland? Great question. For study and career, I would say this is where most students make the costly mistake. They always pick on the basis of tuition cost, and they completely ignore what happens after the fact, right? After you graduate, what is going to happen exactly. So for example, Germany is for students who have some financial cushion and support from their family. And let me explain why. And you are really willing to seriously learn German, not just like dabble, but then actually learn German and be proficient user of German language in general. And if you want long-term EU access, like, want to live in European countries, and if you are in the field of engineering, manufacturing or research, then Germany is definitely good for you. Or for which kind of students is Ireland better? So Ireland is better for students who need to start earning quickly after graduation, who want English language workplace, right? They do not want to learn any other language. They're not curious about it. Or people who are in tech, or who are in finance, or are in data related field, and people who actually value the clarity and the speed when it comes to getting your work permit and then getting the settlement abroad and other things, then perhaps Ireland is better for you. But yes, there is the cost that is involved, and you need to have the money to be able to like survive there upfront, right? Whereas in Germany, you need money afterwards, and with popular demand, you're at least competing with over 250,000 people just for a job or to settle within Germany. And that's why I would say that choose your own trade-off and then decide accordingly. So a lot of you asked about work permit and work related questions. So here's another question. I want to know about working. I'm already working in Malaysia since 5 years. So they want to know about like what's the work permit and how to go about finding work or moving to Ireland on work permit directly. I also got like other questions, is it really possible to move to Ireland on work permit, etc. The other question that I have here is, anything related to working in Ireland, can you tell us the process, please? So technically, yes, you can apply for work permit. Yes, there are sponsored jobs, but realistically, your odds are maybe around 2 to 5%. And here is why. Now, see, Ireland has a work permit system, which is called the Critical Skills Employment Permit. Right now, this is the general employment permit where you would apply for a job and then, get the sponsorship and then go there. Now, this sounds pretty realistic, but in reality, here is what happens. So most of the employers have to prove that they couldn't find anyone of your skill level within Ireland or within European Union. And that's why they're calling you or they're sponsoring you from outside, which is very hard to get, right? Because entire EU, nobody found in that skill. Unless you are working in like a very, specialized skills roles, then only you would qualify for something like that. So that's basically what happens. So the process on paper is you find a job posting, you apply, and then company likes you, they offer you the role, and then they are at least paying you 35,000, which is for the minimum like general permit pay that you have to achieve, and or like 42,000 for some critical skills roles. Now, this is what looks good on paper, right? And then yes, company sponsors you. It takes about 8 to 12 weeks for you to get your visa, and then you fly to Ireland. But here is what happens in reality. When there is a posting, there are about 500 applications that the HR receives, out of which 200 are from within Ireland, 200 are from EU, and 100 are from, let's say, Southeast Asia in general. So what ends up being, of course, the other people are given first preference instead of you. So there is another way that you can probably achieve this, and I'm just going to give you a realistic path in order to achieve this thing. So the realistic path is, first, try to work for a company that through which you can get internal transfer. So like, work with big multinational companies like TCS, Infosys, Google, Microsoft, any of those companies, or even likewise any other companies that does have their headquarters in different other countries, and then work there for 2 to 3 years and then get an internal transfer. The second pathway, which most of the people go for, study first and then find work. I've already explained you a lot of things about it. So you can get a master's degree in Ireland and then start working. And then the third pathway is, it's called hyper niche specialty pathway. So basically what happens here is, if you are into data science, or if you are like into like super niche role, for example, let's say super senior software engineer, or with like an experience experience that nobody has right now. AI is booming. So like, if you are, let's say, a physicist with a quantum computing experience or along those lines something, then you can apply, and then of course your chances of getting selected are around 10 to 15%. Instead of 2 to 5%. So this is a realistic path that you can probably go for if you want to study or work in Ireland. And that brings us to our last but most important question. Is it better for IT graduates to settle there instead of US or Canada? So most IT graduates, what they don't realize is that they are choosing between different types of struggles. It's not like, yes, one size fits all, or like, yes, there is no struggle if you were to go to A country or to B country. So let's talk about US, right? US has high salaries, great job market. If you are a software engineer, like your starting salary is going to be 100 to 150K straight out of college. But because of Trump's administration, that there are huge changes in H-1B visa, which has made it significantly harder for you to land a job. Why? Because now companies would now have to pay 100,000 to sponsor you, which is like huge amount, right? Now, what it means that entry level roles are much less than what it used to be before. Even if you, let's say, end up getting a job, the visa system works in such a way. So let's say you study for 2 years, then you get OPT, then you work for up to 3 years. After that, it's a H-1B is a lottery system. So what happens is you are put in the lottery. Who is to guarantee that you will actually get a job, and the company will be paying 100,000 for you, and on top of it you will be selected in the lottery. So it's like a blind game. I have seen so many qualified engineers and people who moved to Canada just because they couldn't get in the lottery and they were at the peak career in their life. So this is about US, right? Now let's talk about Canada. Canada, well, it has the best immigration system, the easiest immigration system, I want to say, hands down. Really so easy to get PR still, even now, if you're in tech, right? So let's suppose if you study here, you get a 3-year work permit, you apply for PR, and within a year or two, like, if you play it right, and if you're actually planning everything correctly, then you would end up getting a PR. But here is the tension, and here is a caveat. IT salaries in Canada are 30 to 40% lower than US. And the cost of living in Toronto and Vancouver, these are the two big tech cities in Canada. The cost of living here is through the roof. It is equivalent to what it is in California. And the salaries are not that much, right? So then what is happening? You end up earning less, you end up spending more, and you are a part of this 200,000 student pool who all are competing for the PR at the same time. Also, Canada's job market, not to mention, it's not that great. The companies are tightening budgets, and then there's just layoffs in IT. There's just so much more happening. So again, it depends on what do you want, like a easy PR, but it's okay if you're able to like go through all of these, lower salaries, then perhaps Canada. Now, Ireland is the middle ground, or maybe is it really? Let's find out. So in Ireland, you get 2 years of work visa. It has strong tech presence, right? All the Google, Meta, like LinkedIn, name it, and then all those big companies are there. Salaries are kind of decent, like 40 to 60K for the beginners, and like 70 to 100K with experience. And I'm talking about euros, right? And companies will sponsor you, right? Like without any crazy salary threshold like the US, because of course companies do need a lot of workforce and IT is in demand. But here is what most people miss about Ireland. Ireland is quite small. It has the number of jobs that is not even comparable to what is available in California. So if you were to take like number of jobs in IT sector in California versus in Ireland, whole of Ireland, the number of jobs are way less than California. And so what happens, like you're competing and you are trying to get jobs in Dublin, Galway, or Cork, and then if you don't end up finding jobs in these three cities, maybe you are not going to end up like liking it. And again, not to mention the cost of living in Dublin, which is like through the roof. So yeah, these are the trade-offs. So here is a real question for you, or something that you should be asking yourself. What kind of struggle are you willing to sign up for? And then decide which country do you want to go for. If you're talking about IT in general, I'd say all three countries have jobs at this point in time at least. I don't know what's going to happen after 2 to 3 years because of the AI revolution and everything. But then right now it's there, and right now you are going to get a job in all of the three countries, just that your struggles are going to be different. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me make these videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.